Jennifer Motles could not make it to Stockholm today, but I had a chance to speak to her just a few days ago. She sends her regards, and this is a recording of what she had to say. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to have you. So you are not able to come to Stockholm, and you're joining us from Switzerland?
That's right. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm so sorry that I cannot be there. It's really my honor and my pleasure to be with you today. And indeed, I'm joining you from Lausanne.
Okay, fantastic. Now, the tobacco discussion is always a huge interest in a country like Sweden, and why not worldwide? So to set the scene a little bit before your presentation, what kind of responsibilities fall under the PMI umbrella?
I think that, of course, this is something that is relevant to Sweden and everywhere in the world because smoking exists everywhere. Actually, there's more than 1 billion smokers around the world. And as a company that traditionally has been known for making and selling cigarettes, there's something to say about acknowledging A, the impacts of our products, and B, what is it that we're doing to address this? And so in terms of what is the purpose of our company and where is it that we're heading, it requires a very radical transformation to rethink what success looks like when cigarettes are no longer part of the picture. And this is what we're working very committed to, completely phase out cigarettes and no longer base our success on making or selling them.
Okay, so PMI has stated that its ambition is to move away from products that harm its consumers and eventually become a smoke-free company that sells less harmful products. Now, okay, that sounds like a total turnaround coming from a tobacco company.
Yeah, indeed. And this is what I was explaining to you before. I think that understanding what are the impacts that your company creates, it's a very important part of redefining what success looks like, redefining what is the role that your company, in our case PMI, but any company, what is the role that they play in society in a way that they can be a solution provider. And in doing that, rethink what is your value proposition? What is your product proposition? What does your portfolio look like? How is it that you operate? And this is where we're today, rethinking our business completely and really working hard to deliver on it and phase out cigarettes completely.
Sounds ambitious and so fantastic. Within the milestone of a smoke-free future, you acquired 90% of Swedish Match only last year. And this event is in Stockholm, and a very important question for all of the snus users here in this country. So how do you see the future with snus within the EU or within the PMI family?
I think that the purpose and the goals of Swedish Match as a company were not very different to those of PMI, and therefore joining forces means only becoming a force multiplier in terms of accelerating the pace at which we can make cigarette smoking obsolete. We understand that in order to cater to the more than 1 billion smokers that exist worldwide, we need a portfolio of products that are indeed reduced in risk, that represent significantly less harm than continued smoking, and therefore acquiring Swedish Match, and with Swedish Match, their product portfolio and what that entails, means that we have greater opportunities to have more impact at a faster pace and ultimately phase out cigarettes completely, which is what we are aiming to achieve worldwide.
Okay. Now, one final question, just to get to know you a little bit better. What keeps you busy outside of work?
I think that, well, I try to keep a balance as much as possible between work and my private life, connecting with nature, connecting with friends and my family, and leaving time for hobbies like reading or doing sports or hiking or playing with my dog.
Oh, you have a dog. What's your dog's name?
Muchacha.
Muchacha. That's a wonderful name. I have a cat, but I'm also a dog person.
My dog looks a little bit like a cat because she's very tiny.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, well, it was great to talk to you, Jennifer, and we're really looking forward to your presentation. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thanks to you. The pleasure is mine. Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for having me and for making time to learn a little bit more about our company, about PMI, and importantly, what is our approach to sustainability. But before going there, maybe allow me to please explain what is particular about PMI when it comes to sustainability. And I think what is most particular is that our sustainability strategy per se is not separate from our corporate strategy or business strategy. It's really all the same thing. Our corporate strategy, our business strategy, our sustainability strategy, they're all part of what we understand as our transformation strategy. And what do I mean by that? I'm hopefully going to be able to explain to you with my next slides. But before going there, let's start with what's the very fundamental way of giving direction and clarity both to internal stakeholders and external stakeholders, and that is our purpose. So I know that over the years, purpose has become a little bit of a buzzword, and we're very careful in terms of how we use it. At the same time, I think that it's important to have clarity on what is the purpose of your organization, both for your employees and also for external stakeholders that really want to understand what is your company trying to achieve. And so in that regard, PMI's board of directors, that is the highest authority in our organization, issued a statement of purpose in 2020 communicating that, importantly, our intention is to phase out cigarettes completely, to become a smoke-free company, and acknowledging that in order to achieve that, it's not just about serving the interest of our shareholders, but actually working with different stakeholders who play a very important role in order to not only allow us to achieve this goal, but defining the pace at which we can achieve it. Now, related to that, how is it that we understand sustainability at PMI? And I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, there is an element of risk mitigation and operational efficiency. I think for most companies nowadays, thinking about environmental, social, governance related risks is about anticipating, building preparedness, mitigating risk, and ensuring that resources are used in an appropriate way. Now, the important thing for us when we think about sustainability is where we see it as our competitive advantage, as an opportunity for innovation and growth, and ultimately what gives our organization purpose and value. How do we define our priorities is a very important part of our strategy. And I think that this is not unique to PMI. If you're familiar with sustainability, you have seen this matrix before, and it's a materiality, the results of our materiality assessment. So what is important here, and especially now that the EU and CSRD is kicking in, is that these are the results of our materiality assessment that we conducted in 2021. Back then already, we were looking at the principles of double materiality. And what do I mean by that? Double materiality in terms of inward impact and outward impact, and thinking about how different ESG issues are affecting our business continuity, inward impact, and how is it that the existence of our company, of our business, is exacerbating or potentially impacting different ESG issues. And according to that, grading or calibrating which are those ESG issues where we need to put our focus that are most material to organization and business strategy. And so naturally, as no surprise, you can see at the top right of this matrix that product health impact is the most important impact that our company, first and foremost, needs to address. And therefore, it would make no sense almost to have a sustainability strategy coming from a tobacco company if we were not prepared to talk about the health impacts of the products, and importantly, talk about what are the solutions and what is it that we're doing to address the health impacts of our products, meaning how is it that we're working to phase them out and move into a direction where we no longer have to produce them or sell them anymore. So what you can see here is the result of this materiality assessment translated in a way that hopefully is a little bit more intelligible. This is our ESG framework, and it not only classifies the different topics by nature, meaning by environmental, social, or governance nature, but it creates a distinction that I haven't seen in many companies in terms of recognizing that there are certain impacts that derives from our products or what we sell, and there are certain impacts that derive from our operations or how we produce the products that we sell. And I think that this is important because in creating this distinction, there can be clarity in terms of how we pass information to our stakeholders, and importantly, the kind of discussions that we have and the kind of partnerships that we build to address the different impacts either of our operations or of the products that we sell. So in order to address these different issues that we have identified in our materiality, we have developed our strategy. And the way that we have structured it, and hopefully is intuitive as well, is at the core is the product. So addressing the impacts of the product first and foremost is the priority of our sustainability strategy, of our business strategy, of our transformation strategy. And what you can see is to address the impacts of the product, we have 4 strategies. 3 of them are tackling social impact and 1 of them environmental impact. The 3 of them that are tackling social impact are addressing how is it that we're purposefully phasing out cigarettes, while simultaneously maximizing the benefits of our smoke-free products. And in addition to that, thinking about the next horizon. What happens after reduced risk products? How is it that we're thinking about wellness and healthcare and going beyond that? And then last but not least, on the environmental side, top of mind is end of life. What happens with our products after they're consumed? Where do they go? And how do we manage that waste? How is it that we can improve circularity? How is it that we can design for sustainability? How is it that we can build an infrastructure that takes care of reducing or avoiding as much as possible littering? The outermost circle talks about our operational impacts and what are the strategies we have in place to address that. So we have 2 social strategies and 2 environmental strategies. And because we are very close to COP28, our climate COP, I think it's important for me to share with you that we have obviously a strategy to tackle climate change. We also have a strategy to preserve nature. It's important for me to create this distinction because as we all become more aware of the impacts of climate change, it becomes very evident that reducing greenhouse gas emissions is not enough. Preserving natural ecosystems and protecting the environment is also paramount, and that's why having a strong biodiversity strategy that addresses issues related to deforestation, water stewardship, preventing soil degradation, etc., it's very important in order to maximize the value that you're building with your overall climate strategy. So something that is very important to us is I have shown you with materiality what is it that is our priority. With our strategy, I have explained what is it that we have put in place to address these important topics. We report on this year on year in our integrated report, but somehow the story wouldn't be complete if I was not able to say to you and convey what do we want to achieve with this? And that's why having a roadmap that can give clarity to our stakeholders and explain exactly what is it that their strategies are aiming to achieve, it's of the essence. That way, you're not only seeing what are our priorities, what strategies we're putting in place, but also what do we expect to achieve with these strategies, provided that we are successful. And then connected to that, PMI introduced in 2022 a bespoke tool that we call Sustainability Index. The Sustainability Index is composed of 19 KPIs. These 19 KPIs, as you can see, they're connected to our 8 strategies that I was sharing with you before. And importantly, they're indicators that come in to measure progress towards our goals. The reason why we created this index is first because we wanted to create objective, quantifiable, and importantly, verifiable metrics that can allow all our stakeholders, and importantly, our investors, to understand how we define success, how do we measure progress, and what is it that we're expecting to achieve. Then, not less important, this index is actually linked to our long-term compensation. So 30% of PMI's long-term compensation is represented by this index, is linked to our ESG performance. That shows you not only the relevance that our organization gives to non-financial or sustainability performance, but ultimately how well integrated our sustainability strategy is within our entire corporate strategy. The KPIs that you see on the very top, these are KPIs that are actually telling you the story of how our business is changing. KPIs that are measuring how our revenues are changing, how we're entering markets with our new products, and ultimately allowing our stakeholders to measure and verify by themselves how is it that our business is transforming. So with that, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you today, to share a little bit about how is it that we think about sustainability at PMI. Importantly, how is it that we structure it? And I guess of the essence, how is it that we're aiming to be as transparent as possible with our data, with our performance, to allow any stakeholder, including you, to measure, assess, and verify by yourself that we're serious about sustainability and the impact that we're having both on the environment and society. Thank you again for the time.